Sinisterism is about finding the primal aspects of the left-hand path, primal in history, primal in the psyche, thus obtaining truth. Thomas Leroy.
Greetings, my friends, and welcome back to your dose of sinister heathenry. But for those new to the channel, I'm Thomas Leroy, founder of the International Left-Hand Path organization, the Sect of the Horn God. The sect is an educational foundation created to not only make those with the black flame aware of its glow, but to also restore the shadow aspects to the ancient gods by going deep into the past, not only historically, but also psychologically. For the primordial depths of the psyche are limitless. So, if this sounds interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to learn more, join the organization, the Sect of the Horn God, at the link down below. Thank you. Even though religious fundamentalists believe otherwise, we are beasts. Humans are often considered distinct from other animals due to our intelligence, but in truth, we're no different. We're fundamentally animals sharing biological, psychological, and behavioral traits with the other species. And despite our advanced cognitive abilities, we still exhibit many instinctual behaviors rooted in our bestial nature. These behaviors can be observed in various aspects of human life, from personal relationships to international conflicts. You can deny it all you want, you biblical extremists, but we are in truth trained beasts in the circus called modernity. But there is something that does make us very different from the other beasts. It is the ability to become self-deified. And what is the connection between self-deification and the Horn God? For those who don't know, self-deification is the idea that one can obtain a godlike status, which is the ultimate goal for those of us on the left-hand path, isn't it? But this idea is found in more than just our dark occultic schools of thought. In some religious traditions, such as branches of Hinduism and Buddhism, achieving a godlike state through spiritual practice is the supreme objective. In philosophy, for example, particularly existentialism or individualism, self-deification could be seen as a metaphor for achieving one's highest potential, self-realization or self-improvement. But for me personally, my belief of what self-deification is begins with Nietzsche's concept of amor fati, or love of fate, the philosophical notion that embraces life in its entirety, including all the bullshit. This is not a passive acceptance of the inevitable, but an active affirmation of life's totality. This idea encourages a direct approach to life where we take ownership of our experiences and learn to find value in all aspects of existence. No bitching, blaming, or acceptance of victimhood. Self-deification is the realization that we are the masters of our fate. Thus, fate becomes subservient. This has to be so because a lord is never ruled by his vassals. But how does one achieve this state? One way is by accepting death. And here lies the difference between us and the other beasts. They can't accept their impending death because they can't accept that which they don't know is coming. Sure, some beasts such as apes and elephants have a crude awareness of death. They've been known to mourn their dead, but do they fully conceive the fact that it will happen to them also? I doubt it. But is the awareness of one's death the divine spark that rests at the foundation of consciousness? A couple of videos ago, I asked the question, was the first consciousness the pure form of consciousness, all others being copies? And was that primate ancestor, that original primate ancestor who said, oh fuck, I'm gonna die, was that moment our first step to divinity? As one can guess though, just being aware that one is going to die does not guarantee self-deification. You have to take the next step, the step of acceptance. You might be aware of the 5 stages of grief experienced by individuals who are facing their own death or the death of a loved one. These stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Acceptance means the acknowledgement of the inevitability of the situation. Unlike the previous stages, which are often marked by intense emotions, the beast within rising, if you will, acceptance is a more stable emotional state, including spiritual or existential reflections on the meaning of existence. One may experience a sense of detachment from worldly concerns and a greater focus on the here and now. This detachment brings a sense of liberation and clarity. But you don't have to be technically dying to reach this stage. How is this done? First, by simply having reminders of the existence of non-existence, of death. We on the path do this innately, don't we? For many of us, the dark aesthetic is a big part of our identity. Think about the books you read, the movies you watch, the music you listen to, and the artwork you like. Just looking around my study as I make this video, there are 7 skulls of varying sizes staring at me with their empty eye sockets, along with numerous paintings and prints by such artists as H.R. Giger and Hieronymus Bosch. But being attracted to a dark aesthetic does not inherently make one more inclined to appreciate life. I think we're all aware of the dark and gloomy, mopey, woe is me kind of person, those who believe the world is out to get them. If you're that type, I have a shot of reality for you. The world isn't out to get you because it doesn't give a fuck about you. And if you continue with this kind of self-pity, you'll simply become a pimple on the ass of humanity. Anyway, many of us drawn to dark aesthetics often engage deeply with themes of suffering and those existential questions, which leads to a more profound acceptance of existence. That's the key right there. Acceptance of not only death, but of existence. Looking into the shadows helps to emphasize the contrast between light and dark, joy and sorrow, life and death, which aids in the acceptance of the bleaker aspects of existence, such as pain, loss, and imperfection. By embracing what lies in the shadows, one can build resilience by confronting and working through the difficult emotions and experiences which bring an appreciation for life, having faced and survived life's challenges. But who or what waits in the lingering shadows of death? Now, I'm not about to go into an in-depth analysis of the horn god. You can check out the numerous videos I've done on the topic. But I will stress why the horn god is important concerning self-deification. His importance lies in the fact that he is not only a guide for the dead, but also the ultimate definition of the divine beast. Let's start off by ignoring the modern pagan and Wiccan interpretations of the horn god, and instead go straight to the primal. Because that's where the truth is, isn't it? But what do I mean by primal or primordial? We all have primal memories or experiences inherited from our ancestors that encompasses the shared experiences of the human species stored within the collective unconscious. But buried in the deeper reaches of our psyches are the recollections of the primordial void, the depths of eternity that sometimes surface in a rush of existential dread. We've all faced or felt that nameless horror which seems to rise up out of nowhere. I've done many videos on the topic, on the abyss, and also the serpent that slithers up out of it. But being the primates we are, some may find it difficult to identify with that serpent. A wall of fear blocks us from its message, from its influence. So a more, let's say, anthropomorphized interpretation of the primordial aspects of being aids in our understanding. It's not unlike in Christianity, where the angry Yahweh is difficult to grasp as an interpretation of the divine, but Christ as a flesh and blood human being is easier, hence his popularity. Throughout human history, the gods and monsters have emerged as representations of nature's mysteries and powers. Among these, the ancient horn god comes forth as a potent symbol of the divine beast, embodying the primal and untamed forces. His most common symbolic interpretation, though, finds him at the intersection of the human and animal worlds, along with themes of fertility and the seasonal cycles in nature. But the relevant interpretation to our understanding of him is the horn god's link to the underworld and the mysteries of death, for he is a liminal figure existing at the threshold between the material and the spiritual realms. This makes him a mediator between life and death, embodying the transition from one state to another. Thus, The horn god is a psychopomp, a guide for souls, transitioning from the world of the living to the realm of the dead. But is he actually guiding souls, or is it all just a metaphor for that which transcends the ego in the deeper reaches of the psyche? Modernity, with its empiricism and technologies, never vanquished mythology and savagery. It just pushed them down into the subconscious. Hence, the beast still rages within. The horn god symbolizes the beast rising, thus representing the human being's potential to become more than human, greater than they are right now. This is what scared the early church. Thus, they gave the faceless Satan his visage. He is a symbol of beast and God in one. And if the inner beast can rise up to become godlike, then who needs Yahweh? So, in conclusion, my friends, while on your path to self-deification, call upon the horn god in any of his many incarnations you choose, from Pashupati to Cernunnos to Pan to Veles, and take on his role, put on his skin, because if it's good enough for Satan to do, it's good enough for you. Until next time.